This video is going to provide a tutorial on how to create whole notes for different parts in drawings, as well as create general notes and tables within the drawing environment of Onshape. I'm going to start off with creating a new drawing. I'm going to do a B-size no views to start off this particular drawing. And as we get started, this is also going to require a little bit of review. I'm going to place the front view of the whole block. This is the same one created out of the IED course. So as I place an isometric, I probably will need to come up above here since it thinks this is actually the top view, but there's no issue there. We can always come up here and make some of our adjustments to the scaling and to the appearance of the isometric view, so that way it properly will be located on our drawing. From here, I'm going to show the hidden lines. So, and we're looking good there, so no hidden lines for this view. I'm going to create a section view. I'm going to do a horizontal section cutting plane line, and I'm going to go ahead and place my line. It's going to somewhat snap. I'm going to choose one of these centers of the holes, so you'll see it'll automatically adjust the length of the line. I'm going to go ahead and drag down, click to place the instance of the section view, so that will look nice and good. I can use the edge-to-edge center line to put in some things, such as center lines through the holes. And I'm going to hit escape to get out of the tool. If I need to adjust these, I can just adjust these by utilizing the grips on the ends of the lines. Now here I'm just clicking and dragging those grips to adjust those. All right, so that's kind of adjusting that. Ideally, we would want to go through and adjust those line lengths quite a bit. But as we get going, the main reason for this is as far as dimensioning goes, dimensioning as usual follows the same practice as any other parts as far as dimensioning guidelines, types of dimensions being placed, height, width, depth, things of that nature. Really what I want to focus on in this video, this was just a little review to get you back into the thinking about section views, and this is the way we did it in the activity. But here's the thing I want you to take a look at. We're going to use something known as note. And for note, when I choose it, I'm going to click on the outside edge of a hole. It's going to give me a leader line, and I'm able to go ahead and start typing in this particular note. So here, as I start to look, I can end up looking at what kinds of different things here. This first hole is going to have a diameter. Here's my insert symbol button. So I need a diameter of 0.5. And it's a blind hole, so it's going to be drilled down. So I can use all these symbols here, 2 inches. I'm going to hit the enter key to move to the second line. As I go back and look at some of my dimensions here, I got a counter bore diameter of 0.75, and it is drilled down a 1/2 inch. So I can find that counter bore symbol. I can have the diameter symbol, 0.75, drilled down at a depth of 0.5. When I hit the green check mark, this will establish the whole note, and that'll be how we kind of create that. So that's really kind of how we're utilizing that. When we go along within the other particular hole notes, so like here I can have ones, this is a 0.5 through hole, and with a counter sink diameter of 1 inch by 82 degrees. So same kind of thing here. This is going to kind of make us realize how much we love our hole notes. Being generated automatically in Inventor. But it will make us review and think about our different hole notes. All right, so this is kind of how we can, I'm going to hit escape to get off the tool. Here, as far as some of the adjustments, you can always click and drag to move some of these. And then if some of that, you can see these little grip boxes. If you expand those out, it will get it to fit onto appropriate lines, as well as being able to allowing you to move and adjust it. Now on this one here, I'm going to show you a little bit. So that's how to create whole notes utilizing the note tool. We're going to end up utilizing just the regular dimension tool on this next hole. So if I just choose dimension and click the hole, it's 0.5. Now this little pop-up will show up here. Here I can adjust the level of precision, but the main thing is here is where I can apply a tolerance. So in order to go through and apply a tolerance in this case, let's say I want to add a unilateral tolerance to this particular one. So here I'm going to choose deviation. I'm going to add, let's say, 5/1000ths of an inch. So it's that way it can be larger, positive 5/1000ths of an inch. When I'm done, I can click out of the space. There's our tolerance being added. So there's where we can specify tolerances. The only drawback to this is that when I choose this with dimension, I only get, so this is a counterbore hole, 0.375 diameter counter bore, and it's got some other details to it that we're going to put in there. So actually, I'm going to show you a different way. So when we go through and try this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this note. I'm going to go back to the note. So that was a dimension, excuse me, and now we're back to note. I'm going to go ahead and put this in. In Onshape, there is a little bit of a trade-off. So here we end up having a diameter of 0.25. So, and it's going to be drilled down 1 inch. So this is a blind hole going 1 inch into the part, and then I'm going to hit enter. The counter bore diameter in this case is 0.375. Now I'm going to move this little note box here as I'm kind of typing. I can do some things. So here in my symbols, I don't really have the option to do, for example, a deviation or a unilateral tolerance. I also don't have the option to do a limit dimension or stacked. I do have the symbol to do a bilateral tolerance. So majority of these types of holes have a bilateral tolerance. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to use the plus or minus. It'll throw that in there. I'm going to go ahead and throw a tolerance of 0.02 of an inch. And then I can go ahead and put in a depth of 1/4 of an inch. So here, there's kind of a tricky part with an Onshape, is that dimension allows you to, when you look at this, allows you to apply the different tolerances. So that's the cool part. When you're doing machining holes, though, with counterbores, countersinks, anything that has a seat to it or a recessed area to it, you're going to end up having to utilize some of this, and that's kind of the part that we're in right now, is that we're going to have to utilize some of those features. But other than that, everything should be good. This is the whole block that we did in the curriculum, and this finishes up the tutorial on utilizing creating drawing notes and with creating the machined hole notes.